Hey, it's me, NT, and welcome to my focused walkthrough for Heartworm. I've already beaten the game, created the maps, and plotted a route that will take you straight to the ending. This is an any % run, so I won't be picking up every text file or unlocking extras, but I will show the entire game and all the cinematics. So let's get started. Okay, so first we have to set up our settings. I'm going to suggest instead of using these awful retro graphics, to do modern graphics. I'm actually though going to suggest doing tank control, because if you do modern control, she has a tendency to get caught on camera transitions. Aiming though is good with modern. Tutorials I'm going to have off. You should probably have it on, but I've already seen them and I'll be telling you about them anyway. Subtitles on, confirm and begin game. If you're not interested in watching the long cinematics, I will have timestamps in the description so you can skip ahead.
Hey, sorry you haven't heard from me in a while. I've been busy trying to find out about this place. You're not gonna believe me, and I don't even know if I really believe it myself, but I guess a part of me must, because I'm going. It's far, on an abandoned road, a few miles from that power plant in the mountains. It was hard to find anything about it. I started on message boards and I ended up in a chat room talking with people who know people who know people who've gone. They said a lot of crazy stuff, but the one thing that they all agreed on is that in that house, there's a room that can take you to the other side, to see the people that you've lost again. The thing is, no one who's gone has ever come back, and that's why I'm writing you. Not for advice, not to get you to talk me out of going. Actually, by the time you read this, I'll already be there. I just wanted to let you know, in case I don't come back. That way you won't be wondering where I've gone. Either way, you don't have to worry about me anymore. I'm sorry, but I don't have any other choice. I just can't keep going on not knowing.
Okay, game has begun. First thing we're going to do is go into options. We're going to go to controls and we're going to turn the turn speed up twice because it defaults to way too slow. This is going to make it feel a little bit more like the original games. Pick up the camera here on the car, yes. Go ahead and equip the camera. It's equipped, good, yep. Now we're going to combine film with camera to load the 24 film that we start with in the camera. Then it's just a quick little jaunt down the road to our first area, which is the abandoned house.
Sometimes I wonder if I spend more time thinking about death than the average person. My grandfather died a while back. I know it happens to everyone, but it almost feels like I'm obsessed. It's frustrating. No matter what I try, my thoughts always circle back to the one thing I can't control, my own mortality. I came all the way out here not knowing if I'll get the answers I need. I just hope it's worth it.
Alright, Sam's little soliloquy has brought us to our first file, which is Pleasure Beast 1. I'm not going to be reading these out loud because this is more of a walkthrough with a little bit of a long play. If you're really interested, you can pause and read it. Okay, we're into the dark house, but we have our camera equipped. Flashing the camera allows us to see. Here's another file, Pleasure Beach 2. First thing we're going to do is we're going to hit the save room right here. There's another file here that I don't really understand. It's just some random story. And we're going to start hitting a couple of the major mechanics that you will know if you've played other survival horrors. First is the item box. Let us store the lighter and the cigs. There's film in here for later, but there's no combat in the abandoned house, so we don't need it. By the way, to do a quick turn, it's down and square. If you're playing on PlayStation, on Xbox, it's like down and X will give you that quick turn. We're going to be using that a lot. Now, if we go over here, here's one of the secrets in the games, which are possums. Find all the possums and you unlock a costume. This is, I'm not going for possums in this run. I don't think they're particularly important. If you'd really like to do the possums, Siren 5 has a cool guide on where all the possums are. Now we're in the family room. There's a ghostly figure that looks like one of the enemies we'll be seeing later. Grab this file, Father's Journal 1. Out of here, not very much in this room. A lot of these rooms are a little bit empty. I think there's another possum like right over there, but going to go into another part of the family, no, into the dining room. We're going to be grabbing our bandages and our antiseptics. In the main game, with tutorials on, this would be telling you how to combine the 2 healing items to make a first aid kit. Nice, lovely. We're just going to keep rocking along. Mostly just picking up a couple items, a couple different files and notes. I'm not reading them, but I'm showing you where most of them are. There's Father's Journal 2. Nothing else in this room. Right next to it's going to be a nice bathroom. Inside the bathroom is another healing item. Now, I will go ahead and tell you, you only have 6 inventory slots right now. Later we can upgrade it to 8. It'll be 6 for a while. In classic survival horror fashion, you're going to be needing to do a lot of inventory management, particularly depending on how often you get hit during combat, how good you are at juking enemies. If at any time your inventory is full, the only thing that you really need to have, bedroom poem right there by the way, the only thing that you really need to have is your camera and maybe a healing item. Later on, we'll start carrying film with us too, Father's Journal 3. But the main thing you want to be carrying, you want to have room to pick up new items, and you want to have room to get anything else that you find. Right? But here we have our key. This is the attic key, yes. Nothing else in this room, so now we can go open the attic, but we've got a couple other little tasks to do before we can do that. So anyway, as I was saying, if you need to run back to the save room instead of following my route, that's fine. I may have to run back to the save room to get rid of items. Now, this is our first puzzle of the game. This is the clock puzzle. Now, the hint for this puzzle was in Bedroom Poem, aka in the file listing, Bedroom Diary. If you want to look at that to solve it real quick, I'm going to try in this walkthrough to tell you where the solution is if you want to try to figure it out before just giving you the solution. But the solution is 1215. I don't know what the significance of that is, but they mention it in Bedroom Poem. It's the only number. That's what you need. She doesn't. She seems to think it's significant too, but I'm not really sure why. Now we've got a nice long little corridor to sneak through, to run through. Good practice for your tank controls. We're going to pick up the emblem part, and we're going to look at the Rose picture. A painting, the name Rose is engraved on the bottom. This is actually a solution to a puzzle that we haven't got to yet. You'll want to keep that in mind. This walkthrough is not exactly spoiler free, but I'm trying to make it spoiler light. Let's go and open up this door. I unlocked it. And we're going to go back downstairs to the basement. The basement is locked with a word lock, which we just saw the answer for. 4-letter word. Maybe it's Rose. It is Rose. That's going to let us into the basement. Remember, if it's a little too dark for you to see, you can always do the flashy flashy. Now we're going to push what we get the push prompt for. And just a little bit more winding and winding and running around. This one you have to push from the opposite direction. Then we've got to go first this way. Around to another set of shelves. Push that out of the way. Used to be 2 shelves there. I guess they changed that. This game has updated since I played it last. But this should hopefully still be everything like right and correct. We're coming down here for another file. Father's Journal 4, and another half of the emblem part. Now in classic survival horror fashion, we're just going to combine 2 parts of the key, the emblem, into a whole emblem. Looks like a heart. Then we're going to have to be running to the attic. Now that we have the attic key and have the rose emblem, the heart emblem, I think it's just called red emblem in the inventory, we've got everything we need actually to beat Abandoned House. We're going to go up the stairs to the opposite door. Ignore all the creepy dressmakers dummies covered in cloths and up the stairs. Now this is going to be our first door to unlock with a key. Unlock the door with the attic key. Don't need it anymore. Discard yes. Whenever the game asks you, do you want to discard an item? That means you're done with it. Not very reliable on always asking you. Sometimes it'll discard it without asking you. There is the torn paper file. We're going to run across here, through the creepy attic, to the door to the dead. This one does not prompt you for an item, but we'll go ahead and use our red seal, heart emblem, whatever it looks like it's called different things at different times. It definitely said seal earlier.
All of a sudden, something is changed. If I go through this door, I may not come back.
That's a good point, Sam. Normally, whenever you leave one of these major maps, you cannot go back to that map. So make sure that you finish everything before you go to the next area. That's really only going to be an issue with the endings. There are 3 endings for this game. A good ending, a bad ending, a good ending, and a good ending with an extra scene. But thankfully, you can get them all in one run. We're going to be going like we're going for the good ending with the extra scene, but at the end of this walkthrough, I'll tell you where to turn in no items to get the bad ending, 1 item to get the good ending, etc. Okay, we're going to try opening this door to set the flag to trigger this event that's about to happen. Now we have to run all the way back up. I did kind of try playing around if I could like walk halfway down the staircase and then come back up and trigger the event, but it looks like hitting the door sets the flag. We're going to have, scary person show up. Let's just run straight at him, because getting caught or running all the way back to the door gives you the same cinematic. Alright, neat. We got sucked into a TV. That's hinting at...
What just happened? All those stairs, and what was that thing chasing me? Now I'm somewhere. If this is the afterlife, it's not what I was expecting. Regardless of my expectations, I can't go back the way I came. Good. I'm not leaving until I get answers.
Alright. Let's go ahead and hit a quick save. And let's save in slot 3. Always a good idea for the archive. The archive is your spot in between maps, so it's always a good idea to have a save going back to your last archive visit. Alright, so as I said, the archive is sort of a hub. We're going to be going this way first. Static plays a big part in this game. I'm not exactly sure why. I know that the end boss is associated with video, which is why you get sucked into and out of a TV. We're just going to take a picture of the static and it's going to go away like a ghost wall in Devil May Cry or whatever. Consider that your fog wall from Dark Souls, but you gotta shoot it with a camera. Alright, and welcome to the game's combat. Now in all combat, you're going to want to try to make a little space between you and the enemy. This is a white doppelganger of Sam, the weakest one in the game. You can see there's a blue one, there's also some red ones.
At least I have some way to defend myself.
We're going to run this way. Most of these enemies, a general rule is if an enemy is on the inside, you should probably defeat it, because then it's going to get in your way when you're trying to explore. If it's on the outside, though, it's generally slow enough you don't have to worry about it. We're going to go into this house. This is our first save room. Sam doesn't know why that's there. Back to the item box. Okay, so we're going to grab 2 items out of the box. First, we're going to get our extra film. Next, we're going to get our lighter. We're going to need those for later. While we're in here, let's go ahead and safety save. And we can go ahead and start exploring the second map, the neighborhood. So, we should be all set up to get our first candle. Our first candle is going to be at the baseball field. We have to light 3 candles to open a door later in the area. A lot of this game is pretty much like that. You're just picking off one puzzle piece at a time, essentially, while also trying to grab some items. Speaking of items, okay, so this is the blue static phantom. It shot me with a slowdown ability. It slows you down for quite some while, but it doesn't last that long. Let's grab this film. Run away. Most of the time, it's just not worth fighting these enemies. But the game is actually pretty easy. I'll go and give you that little hint ahead of time. There's lots of health, lots of film. The first time I played through this, I didn't carry the film in my inventory, but it turns out it stacks indefinitely. You can have, I've got up to like 500 film and it's been fine. Alright, starting off with the baseball field. We're going to start by following the bases. First base. As you can see, the red enemies disappear. There is no point interacting with them. Second base, we're going to give the blue enemy a wide berth because it can shoot us and slow us down. third base, and we're finally going in for home. This is opening this cage up. All the enemies apparently like to converge when you do that. We've got a candle. We're going to light it with the lighter. As soon as she stops talking, I'm going to get away from this red enemy. Now, in addition to the candle that we have to light here, as you can also see sparkling there, there's a baseball bat. We might have a little trouble with inventory management right now because we are going to be picking up several keys. I tried to keep that in mind while planning this walkthrough, but I might have to run back to the save room just because I'm also going to be picking up, like, health. But I think that's all the keys I need. Nope. Let's see. Oh, that's not where I thought I was. Going back this way. The face camera angles do get a little disappointing. And actually, I'm going to have to leave 1 health on the ground, counting the items I'm looking for right now. I'll show you where it is. You can come back and get it later. I'm not going to need it. As you can see, I'm pretty well running around these enemies. Here, I could also run around these, but there's 2 in this room. And they're just a bit of a pain. And I don't want to have to deal with them, so I'm just going to defeat them instead. They don't take very many shots. You might have to go away and make a little space. Get these out of the way. You can see running past them works quite well. They remapped the quick turn. It used to be just down. Now it's down and square. All right, there's all the enemies. We need this key. House key. There is also a film on one of the shelves. I think it's this shelf. Yep. Grab the film. Then we're going to grab this antiseptic. And I'm going to show y'all where another healing item is, but I'm not going to pick it up because I don't have room for it. But we should be fine for inventories beside that. That means that if you're playing this game and if you're taking damage because you haven't gotten used to the combat like me, there is a other healing kit right there. I'm going to leave it on the ground. If I need it, I can come back and pick it up, but I shouldn't need it. Alright, so next thing we're going to do is go into Waterhouse. There is a red enemy here. If you were just starting, I would say to defeat this enemy. But considering the only thing she's guarding is some more film, I'm just going to juke her. Her only real gimmick is disappearing. But you can see there's still the little red outline. So not too hard to see. We're going to run all the way down this hallway into the bathroom where we find our second candle. Oh, while we're in the inventory, let's go and reload our camera. Use the lighter. And that leaves us with only, I think, 1 more candle to get. And we're done in Waterhouse. Like I said, really no point fighting this enemy unless you don't know what you're going to be doing in here and you need to actually explore. But since I have pretty much taken care of the exploring for you, you don't have to worry about that. You don't even have to worry about these enemies wandering around here. There are a couple in front of this house that can be problematic. Hopefully it'll be fine. Let's go ahead and unlock this door. And we'll be going inside. Nice file here. Not really sure what that means. Apparently Sam got rejected for fine art college or something. We're going to run through here. Creepy, creepy.
As weird as it is, those lit windows feel comforting. Like coming home.
To Sam's old bedroom. We have a couple of things to do here. We can go ahead and read. Chest for beginners. There's a possum if you want to take a picture of that. We're going to drop off the baseball bat, which she doesn't want to automatically do, freeing up some inventory space. There we go. We're going to replace, though, the empty spot, the bat, with the model train. I went ahead and discarded that antiseptic. Again, not really going to need it so that I can pick up... okay, where do I need to stand for this one? Here. So I can pick up the item we get from this. So this is a chess puzzle. The idea is to check the king in one move. The file over there tells us that's what we're supposed to do. And the winning move is bishop e3 to g5. Now the king is in check, and we get our burst lens, which is apparently the only mod in the game. It's the only one that I found. Felt like the developer wanted to try to make like a whole fatal frame mod system, but this was the only one I found. We're going to go and combine the burst lens with the camera. Now instead of taking 1 shot, we take 3. That's good all by itself because it means that you have less chance of taking damage, but amazingly enough, this burst shot takes 3 pictures for the price of 1 film. So you actually triple your damage, supposedly. It does feel a little weird, without having to use more film. So really nice. Alright, so we've taken care of Old House. That's everything we need to do here. We're going to be going around to the garage. These enemies like to get in your way, but as long as you're running straight there, it's not a thing. We can go ahead and discard the house key. If you didn't want to discard that antiseptic earlier, I could have ran here and did this first. This was just a little faster. Okay, so we're going to start by pushing the shelf out of the way. That's going to give us access to these switches. And we want to do the 3rd switch, the 4th switch, and then the 1st switch. And that's going to open up our route to the attic. Or not the attic, the 2nd floor of this garage. This lets us go upstairs to the 2nd floor. Oh, by the way, the file over here. Almost missed that. Obituary. Go upstairs, and the most important item in the game, right here. Take the camera bag. Open up your inventory and equip the camera bag. That's going to give us 2 more slots, which, believe it or not, is enough to make things much easier. Over here, we're going to the model train sets. We're going to use the train that we got from the house. That's going to chugga around. And give us a key. We're going to need that in just a second. Alright, then we're going to go right over here, skirt the edge of the house to avoid the enemy that's coming up. And right here, this is actually a door. You unlock it with a padlock key. You discard the padlock key. Go through the door. We're going to come to here and we're going to find this little net of static and pick up our first Polaroid. These Polaroids are the garden photo. Oh, that enemy wasn't there the first time I played, I don't think. Garden photo, the Polaroids are what determines which ending you get. More Polaroids, better ending. Pretty easy. There's like a Polaroid in every map except for the abandoned house. There's 4 main maps. 3 Polaroids. Alright, so we're doing pretty good. I'm going to go... This is an excellent time to go hit the save room, both for a safety save and to move our inventory around a little bit. Kinda wish I hadn't discarded that antiseptic. Kinda wish I went and picked up that first aid kit. Main thing is we want to put away the garden photo. We'll have to put away that lighter, but we have 1 more candle to do. Let's do a quick save. And off we go. Oakley dokley. Now we're ready to go to the second half, essentially, of this map. You see this door up here with the static? Make sure you go in that door, not the other door. I had a little bit of trouble with that the very first time I played with the demo. We're now in Snowy Hall. There's a monster spawning in. Let's just run right past that. There's nothing in Snowy Hall anyway. Got some more monsters here. They've got a little better chance of hitting you, but you still should be able to juke them. Going to run down the street a little bit of a ways into the snowy field. Let's get what's going to end up being my first aid kit. I did stick some other stuff in the item box, I think. It's hard to keep up with the inventory a little bit on a quick run like this. Then we're going to run down this a ways. And into the apartment. We've got 2 enemies spawning in here. They might end up getting in the way. We're going to start by going straight into the bathroom, grabbing some bandages. Boy, having those 2 extra slots makes it so much easier for picking up supplies. Run through this bedroom. Oh, we got an enemy already, huh? Gonna have to spend a little time juking it. Juking the enemies is just running circles around them, essentially. Then we're running down this long hallway. I must say there should be another red enemy in wait for me. To the last candle. Don't understand why she doesn't automatically pull up the use for this. There we go. That's 3 candles. This enemy's going to try to hit me. Surprised it didn't because I kind of ran straight into it. These doppelgangers, phantoms, whatever, they have a little bit of a wind-up. Unfortunately for them, it means they can't do too much. Then we're just going to be exiting the way we came. Here's some angry enemies. Doesn't matter. Back in the snowy street. Down the stairs. Down the street. And we've lit all the candles for the funeral home. That enemy is going to be a little bit in the way. I don't like where they're at. But I can just wait for them to pass. I think they have no detection radius, by the way, behind them. We'll grab a quick file, dealing with grief, 3 candles lit in the window, check, check. Into the funeral home. Now there's not very much to do in here. Nice little sitting area, because I missed this door. Walking into the viewing area, going up to the casket with the creepy eye. That is going to take us into like a churchyard? I don't know. There is 1 file here in the churchyard. Looks like it's on the other side of the fence, but it's not. Journal entry 2. We're going to be getting lots of those journal entries. It's the same person through the game who's essentially looking for their mother. Now we're into like the downtown part of neighborhood. We're going to just keep on running. This area is relatively large. There's going to be a bunch of just running. Thankfully, the game starts on auto run, so not a real issue there. This is the most Silent Hill feeling part of the game. We'll be coming back through that door in a minute just to do a safety save. But we'll just keep on going and going. There's a mile between us and the enemies, so we don't really have to worry about it.
Trying to figure out why this city feels familiar. I think we may have come here when I was a kid. My whole family. Probably one of the last times we ever did something all together. The memory's so foggy. I think we came to visit distant family. I remember playing in a warehouse and getting in trouble. It was so long ago. I can't tell if I'm just making up the details.
Speaking of the warehouse, we're going into the warehouse. There's not a bunch of items in here, but there is 1 key item that we need. First, though, we still got to continue. We went from long runs through the streets, and now it's going to be long runs through the warehouse. Catwalks, and etc. This isn't even a warehouse. This is like a huge aircraft hangar somebody has converted into a warehouse is what this feels like. There's the crowbar. That's the item we're looking for. We need the crowbar to open the last door to the end boss. This was a 1-way door. I unlocked it. That enemy is placed about where I want them to, but at least they're walking away from me, so there's no chance of getting detected. Now we're going to run in here, which is the save room. We're going to empty our inventory. We'll go ahead and put the lighter in. We're done with that. And all our health. We don't need that. Might need it later, we'll see. We're going to make a safety save. Slot 1, that's good. And now it's just retracing our steps back into the warehouse. That was a dramatic camera angle. Still just right behind these enemies. Yep, they seem to have no detection behind them. They just have a vision cone. Guess they can't hear you. Then we're going to continue back down the warehouse. You can see there's lots of boxes blocking everything. You would think there'd be some items here. As far as I know, there's not. I haven't found anything in boxes. Actually, in this game, there's pretty much nothing in things. You can pretty much see all the items. They're glinting at you. We're going to run in here. The boxes are going to fall behind us. And in just a second, we get this strange enemy who spawns. That is an instant kill. If he finds you, just continue to follow this route. Remember to use your camera if you need to. Everything's pretty well lit up. You're just going to keep running through all the gaps. This is going to be the real training of your tank controls. If you've sufficiently practiced, though, that shouldn't be too big of a problem. He can apparently walk straight through the walls, though, because he's not snaking back and forth. He may be walking slow, but he's taking the shortest route. The first time I died here, oh, that area is over. The first time I died there, I didn't even see him hit me. I was just running like into a wall, trying to see if it was the correct path or not. And all of a sudden I died. I'm like, oh, he can walk through walls. So we can no longer enter that area of the warehouse. It doesn't really matter because we're going to be opening up some shortcuts to go around it. Again, there's no items except for this one crowbar. We will take the crowbar. Yes. Then we'll be leaving essentially the same way that we came. Wait. Is this right? This doesn't feel right. Is this right? Yes, okay, this is right. My apologies, got a little confused there. I'm going to use the crowbar on the planks. This map is a good map, but sometimes it doesn't quite make sense how it connects. Now, I would suggest going ahead and making one more safety save, because we're about to fight the boss of this chapter. It's not a very hard boss, and I'm pretty certain if you die, you checkpoint right before the boss. But just in case, the boss is also the one waypoint. So if you've missed anything, like if for some reason you haven't got the Polaroid by now, after you hit that boss fight, you're not going to have a chance to go back. So also a good reason to make a quick safety save. While we're in here too, it shouldn't be necessary, but I'm going to grab one healing item. As you can see, I have extra. I'll grab the first aid kit that heals for the most. Let's make a quick save on slot 2, because it's right before the boss. And it's got a little bit more running again. We're going to be running like we're going back towards the main warehouse entrance, except we're going to be taking a different turn. Again, just completely ignore these enemies. It would be a little faster if you left through the front of the warehouse and just ran straight to this boss. But I wanted to get that safety save in. I wanted to get a healing item just in case. Again, I've played through this at least once. I'm pretty good at survival horror as well, so you may end up needing more or less healing items. To use the crowbar and automatically discarded it without asking me to use it or to discard it. The game is not very consistent. And here we get a cinematic. Okay, so got the spider chasing us. It does a fair bit of damage, but not a crazy amount. Our first goal is going to be trying not to get hit by it. First goal is going to be just picking up the items in the area. There's 4 items. You can see it likes to do like a little charge forward. And this might be the most ideal time to be grabbing these because it's being very aggressive on the charge. But I just find it much easier, personally, if you go ahead and get all the items, and then you can ignore this, or, well, ignore the item. You don't have to worry about the items later. Alright, 2 healing items, 2 sets of film. Now what we're going to do is we're going to get our back, so we can have a little bit more time. We essentially just, whenever we fight him, we want our back up against the wall, and we're going to pour damage on him. Once he goes up the wall, he, she, it, whatever, then we're going to start running laps around because he really only has, let's just say he really only has 3 attacks. One of these kamikaze spiders, relatively easy to dodge as long as you keep going completely straight. And the charge, which it likes to do a lot, the faster you can get these attacks off, the better you can counter the charge. Also likes to do that little web blast, which will just do whenever it wants to. The charge can be interrupted, the web blast can't. Let's reload. I could have waited a little bit longer, but it's better to reload in a menu than it is to reload in-game. By the way, pulling the menu back up, the status shows how much health you have. Green, fine, is full health pretty much. Then it goes down to yellow, caution, then orange, caution, and when you hit red, danger status, you're about to die. You should definitely use a first aid kit. Okay, so back up on the walls again means it's going to be summoning more kamikaze spiders. I've got to still kind of juke these. Every now and then I get hit, but as long as you're running straight forward and not into them and trying to get just as clear from their radius as possible, you can do that. I'm going to get up. Okay. By the way, there's no point shooting. That one's very hard to counter. Let's see. Oh, I'm still moving fine, so I'm still at yellow caution. There's no point firing until you see the red pop up. Red means that they are in range. So I'm just going to keep pouring damage. It may trade some damage with me. It's fine. I haven't even started limping yet. You'll start limping as you take more damage. Just mashing that button as fast as I can. Check my health. Still yellow caution. Could reload my camera, but I got 13 in there, so that'll be good enough for one more. Yep, they hit me, and now I'm limping, which means I've gotten to. I'll wait until this stops, and then I'll check my health. There's another hit, and another hit. So I'm at red danger. I'll use one of the first aid kits, and I'm at green fine, which means that I'm at full health. I'm no longer limping. I don't know why all of a sudden I'm taking all the damage now. Are they like exploding faster because he's doing more, or what's going on here? Okay. As you can see, it's getting more staticky. That's essentially like the cracks, meaning it's almost defeated. Okay, here we are back in the archive. We're going to start off by running over to the item box. We picked up a couple extra things from our fights. Actually, just the one first aid kit, but we're at full health. I don't need that right now. Could go ahead and take a second and reload that camera. I only took 3 more shots to finish it off. We'll go ahead and do our save on slot 3. It's our archive save between maps. Alright, we made our save. Now we need to use our key item right now that we got, the spider page or whatever it's called. Go up there, use neighborhood page, actually is what it's called. That's going to unlock the door that's up there at the top. And we just got a little bit more running and we'll be going to the 3rd of 4 maps, the wilderness. Kind of figured there would be some nice static wall blocking here, but no. Doesn't look like Sam wants to say anything either, so just a nice little run into the wilderness, which apparently is part of the archives, right? Forgot that part. Actually, there's probably going to be a teleport in a second, or a door or something. Nice. This was not an important part of me paying attention on making this walkthrough. None of these interstitial areas have anything. Okay, welcome to the wilderness. Now it's worth mentioning that that door we just left does lead to another part of the map, but it's not very important because we're going to be getting there a different route. There is a nice little poem by Herman Hesse.
Used to take me hiking here as a kid. I kept coming on my own after he passed. It was a grounding experience, something to get me out of my own head. My memories here are good for the most part. But I stopped hiking here after some bad ones.
Get caught on the stairs a little bit. Grab the watermill key, yes. Then we're going to be going to our favorite type of room in the game, or actually it's the same room, the save room. No items in this one, but while we're here, we'll go and do a quick little save. Slot 2 for me, under bridge. The wilderness is fairly twisty. There's a lot of different ways that the map rooms connect. I spent a pretty good while trying to figure out what I think is the best route. So there is going to be a little bit of backstepping, backtracing, retracing our steps and turning around and going into a room just to hit 1 or 2 things and then going back out. And by room, I mean every time you hit a loading screen into a new area. This is Survey the Stars Cetus. This is actually an answer to a puzzle we'll have to do later. Now over here hidden there is a bandage. You can barely see it blinking at you, but it's right there. Then we're going to pull the switch. There's so many switches in here, I can't remember how many there are. I could look it up on my notes, but it's not really important. We're going to run right back to where we came from. And start taking a nice little trip. It's so pretty here. There's going to be more stretches of silence where I'm just running because like this bridge is freaking long. And I think we cross it twice. Maybe more times than that. We're going to go over here, get the Cassiopeia description. Then we're going to take this nice little route. And it's going to take us into the beginning of the corn maze. There's a couple enemies scattered around here. I don't remember where all of them are. I don't think there's one here. I remember where they are on my original playthrough, but I'm taking a different route. This is a little bit more direct. We're going to hit yet another one of those switches. There's a couple of healing items hidden in this maze too, which is nice. Then we're just going to leave again. We're just essentially hitting the bottom of the corn maze to get that switch. Then we're going back down here and back along the path we were taking. Dead ahead of us is the heart. Okay, so there's a nice little bit of lore here. Up at the flashy thing, that's like the thing we need to leave the area. That's the hex crank. Instead, we're just going to run in here, hit the switch, ignore the enemy that is just standing still and invincible until it starts moving, and leave. We really were just running in here for that one switch.
Beauty, fed by decay. I can never look at it the same again.
Then we're going for the second right. This is going to take us to Fork on the map, where the enemies are going to be much more active. We should have at least one statue trying to kill us. And, oh, so this one did the Circle of Stone. It didn't do that to me last time. We're just pouring on damage. Should be able to kill it before it gets close to us. You do have to watch out for that one projectile. Did I get turned around? Is this where I want to be? Yep, this is where I want to be. So that statue has that Circle of Stone that they can do, I guess, whenever they feel like it. And then the one projectile. There's a wolf here. It's pretty much always set to go to the right, and you can just go here. Grab the switch. I think he's going to take a left across the waterfall bridge that y'all haven't seen yet. Nope. Okay. If he had taken a left, I would have just ran back through the exit, and it would have reset his position back way down there by the switch. That's what I'm calling the waterfall bridge. Oh, I wanted to sneak up on this enemy a little bit more, but whatever. Oop. I hope to get it. Now we're just pouring on damage again like the spider. Dies pretty quick. Pretty much all the enemies are just pour on damage. Now we're going to go into... Actually, we're not quite going to go into the watermill house yet. There's one more thing to do first. We're going to go around to the back of the watermill house. And there's some film. I have 14 shots in the camera. That means I don't really need to reload it just yet. I don't think there's a way to reload it in active time. I think I've tried using... Yep. Use the watermelon key. Get rid of the watermelon key. Go through the door. Yeah, there's no reload that I can find. Alright, so this watermill poem is the solution to the piano puzzle that we're about to do. If you look at the watermill poem, it will reveal the answer to you. But what we need to play is C, then D, then E flat, then G, B, A, G, then F, then D, then E flat again, which is this one, and then F, F again. There we go. I was afraid I got that wrong. I found it to be fairly simple to figure out what the puzzle was, except for it kept saying ebb, which I thought was E, and it was actually E flat, which is how it's annotated on the piano. That's another hint if you're trying to figure it out yourself. Alright, so we finished in there. We're going to run down over here. There's a healing item in the grass. It's an antiseptic. Now we have a bandage and an antiseptic. So we'll make a first aid kit. We'll also go ahead and fill up the camera since we've got it pulled up. And we'll go ahead and turn ourselves back around. And we're going to be going into that door that just opened up behind Waterfall. See, that same dog is still patrolling over there. He shouldn't be an issue, though, because he's not really near anywhere where we're going to be going as much. Then again, he is on a patrol path. He might be just about to cross this bridge. He didn't. We're going to go in the door. There are some enemies in here, but they haven't activated on me. The statue enemies are real random. I think some of them are just plain statues. Like, I think that's a statue, but if you point it at it with your viewfinder, it says it's an enemy. It'll turn red. Hit the switch. Then we're going to go down the ladder. First thing's over here. We've got another statue enemy guarding some health. That enemy will come to life if you grab that health. I don't need the health. I'm not going to worry about fighting it. You've seen how to combat it if you decide it's a good trade-off. Now we have 2 more statue enemies up here, but they haven't activated on me before, so maybe they'll continue not being activated. And we'll get the bolt cutters. Also, I can see a possum in the minecart right there, so if you're looking for possums, there's another one of them. So we really just came down here for the bolt cutter. Figure out which side of this ladder to use. There we go. Now we've just got a little backtracking to do. Hopefully this enemy continues being quiet. I'm going to skirt all the way to the side just to make sure, just in case. Then we're going to go back out the waterfall. And Doggo should be spawned near the switch, so he shouldn't be anywhere close to me. We're going to go back into Fork. We've already gotten rid of the... I think there's an enemy at the Fork, and I think there's an enemy up here. Essentially, though, the statue enemies, as long as they don't trap you in that circle of stones, and as long as you skirt them far enough that they can't hit you with a projectile, they won't come to life. And they're not worth worrying with. Alright, now we're here in the astronomy puzzle. So, we have the different constellations. You can memorize them from the thing, or you can just click on each one, see what it is. Cetus was one of the things that we saw. Now we're just looking for Andromeda and Cassiopeia. There's Andromeda. And... oh, where's Cassiopeia? She's hiding from me. Oh, here's Cassiopeia. Then the thing opens up. Oh, by the way, I guess I was a little ahead of the time because this one shows you that the other one you need is Andromeda.
But as I got older, it became reassuring. Our existence, improbable as it is, seemed to me like a...
Grab the blood kit while Sam is still talking.
But that wonder faded over time. These days, I don't feel the same about the star.
Dodge that enemy. Should be a doggo in here somewhere. We can go ahead, use bolt cutters, get it out of our inventory. Use. That is now open. I want to kill this dog. Make sure the viewfinder is red, so it's in range. No dog. We can't quite play with the generator in there yet. We got to hit one more switch, which is why I'm like, you know, just go and use the bolt cutters if you want, or you could hold on to them. It doesn't really matter. Then it's going to be everyone's favorite type of puzzle, block pushing. There you go. Here's you a quick second. You can take a look at it, see if you can figure it out yourself. By the way, if you do mess this puzzle up, all you got to do is leave the room, come back in. So to solve this block pushing puzzle, it's something straight out of the original Zelda games, essentially. There's nothing new about this puzzle. There's nothing new about there's nothing new about this solution. You're just making a path so that you can clear the boxes around the switch. You've only got to push them far enough for Sam to be able to go through. I like to give a little extra room just so I don't have to stop and come back. Except for these you do have to push all the way back, or this particular one, because it's got to be able to clear that box. Looks like you should be able to get the switch right there, but you can't. She's gonna be like, oh, I can't reach. My skinny little arms cannot go that far. Whatever shall I do? Run over here. Slowly push this box. The agony of waiting. I think that's far enough. We can push this box out of the way. I would rather push a little further. Up, switch. That should be our last switch for the generator. There are two main puzzles in this area. Our two like penultimate puzzles being the generator and the blood basin. We're about to get rid of one of the two puzzles that's gating our exit from this area, or entrance to the boss fight if you prefer. This last switch sets the generator to 100. We're going to push the switch to activate the generator. The veins have started pumping. Now while we're here, this is a puzzle solution. You should make note of this. We will need this to get the Polaroid. Alright, so I have notated that down. Hopefully y'all have as well. Now at this point we could proceed. We're actually getting close to done with Wilderness. But in the interest of showing you the whole map, and the fact that it probably wouldn't hurt to make a safety save because we've been playing for a while, I'm going to run down these stairs to the boat. This is going to unlock a little bit of fast travel, one-way travel, whatever you want to say, back to the save room. While we're here, might as well get rid of all our items. Well, actually just the one healing pack that I have. We're going to want to hold on to the blood kit. We'll make another save in slot 1, under bridge, and then we're just going to be running exactly back to where we were, except this time there's going to be a boat waiting for us, which is going to make things so much easier. It's that we've got to go all the way back up these stairs. Now that we're back in the area, we're going to head this direction. There is a statue that is an enemy that will activate, I think. I gave it such a wide berth. Most of these statues such a wide berth, it's hard for me to know whether or not they're enemies. Now we're in the top of Corn Maze. And I heard the dog walking, and I knew there was a dog here. But we're just going to wait until it gets near us, and no dog. Now we're going to go through here, into the house. There's a couple things we want in the house. First of all, there's another possum. Second of all, there's some more film. Next, there's a big deer corpse that Sam likes to talk for a while about. And we're going to use blood kit to get some deer blood. There is another dog walking around. I don't exactly know where he is. So we're just going to have to... He likes to sneak... This one really likes to sneak attack you. I think he's... When I fought him, it was that way. But we're going to first go this way. Oh, no, the dog jumps right here, from what I remember. No? I don't know where that dog is. There's a healing item right here. We're going to grab that. He's just going to hit me in a second because I don't know where he is. Then, right here in the weeds is the bandage that we can combine to make a first aid kit. Oh, how are you there? So I'll go ahead and take that as a warning. These dogs are on patrol. It's a little random where they are. I think I want to go here. Yep. I'm also going to reload my camera real fast because I know it has some more combat coming up. I tried avoiding this combat, but it didn't really work. Alright, so we have two statue enemies. We're going to try to do these one at a time. So we'll trigger one. You don't want to trigger, huh? We'll trigger one. Seriously? So we've got the two statue enemies. It seems to be random how many of them trigger and whether or not they put that circle up, but we're just going to go and break this one. And since we got rid of one, we can actually avoid the other one. Probably the best outcome I could have expected. We got the blood basin. We're going to use the deer blood to fill up the blood basin. And that's going to start the veins to pumping. Now that the veins are pumping, we've got done everything we need to do. By the way, there's a bandage back here. Let's grab that. Since I'm on yellow caution, I'll just go and use it. Now I'm green fine again. Didn't really have to do that, just wanted to. Probably was a mistake. Normally what you want to do is you really want to wait until you're at red danger and then use everything. Use your first aid kit. We've cleared the maze of all enemies. There's only just the 2 dogs wandering around. It's much easier to take them out from the top too, by the way, I would say. Now, hey, look, this looks familiar. And we're going right back to the heart. I don't know if that statue woman is going to attack this time or not. It looks like all the statues in the game just have a chance of attacking. So, heart is straight. Now that we've got both veins pumping, the blood is flowing through the fountain, and we can grab this hexagon crank. Now, it doesn't actually matter if this statue activates or not because we're out of range of that little circle that they will trap you in of the spikes. That's really the only attack you have to worry about with these enemies. Now we're going to run to this area we've been ignoring because there's no point going here. And it's a nice little scenic overlook of the river, and we're going to do something completely impossible. We're going to use the hexagon crank. It raised the dam and somehow made a giant hole in the water. You can see the dam moving, you can see the water draining, all very nice. Now you may be tempted to go hit a save now because you've been running around for a while, but we're actually just about to get to another one, so there's no real point. Again, this door that we're coming up on is the one that leads back to the very beginning of the area, where I said you can go through this door and get to another part. This leads to where you start. No point doing that. We're just going to look at the file real quick, grab the film, go down the stairs, and we're going to end up back in the caves again. We're in this nice big area of the caves. Let's wind our way down, go across this bridge that's a little hard to see, and then we have a choice of left or right. No real items in this area, but we are going to go grab another Polaroid. Now, remember the lights I said by the generator to memorize? That's these. So green, 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 and submit. Makes the sun gate open. Going to take us to a room, and inside the room is going to be our last Polaroid. Also covered by a little static net wall thing. It looks like a net to me. Take a picture of it. Grab your Polaroid. And we can leave this area. That is our second Polaroid of the game, and it's the Polaroid for Wilderness. So we are on track for the best ending. We're going to run back around here, up this little slope. And remember the save room that I promised? Well, it's not a room, it's a save area. Let's go ahead and go into our box. And we'll store the cave photo. I'm going to save that first aid kit because we are about to hit a boss. And we'll save. Fun fact, there used to be an item right here, a healing item. But it would continually respawn whenever you reset the game. So it looks like the dev took it out. Alright, now we're going into the boss. Alright, grab the boss, get him one hit as he's running away because this is a gimmick boss. He runs away, he jumps on, ambushes you, and he spawns wolves. Grab that first aid kit on the stump. There is some film over here on this log bench is really what that looks like. And we've got to make a little quick loop of the area, picking up, I think there's 2 more items to get. While we're looping through the area, we're going to be looking for the boss and trying to keep an ear out for wolves. There's the boss right there. So there's also a wolf right behind me. I didn't turn around quite fast enough. So first, get the wolf. These wolves are weaker than the ones that are in the main one. See if we can hit the boss. If it was red, I would shoot him right now. Since it's not red, I'm going to run straight towards him. And he's going to jump over me. Then we're just going to pile damage until he runs away again. He might get a hit off on us, just like the spider boss. Probably going to make him run away after he does that. Nope, he's still there. Keep piling damage on. It's gonna be weird if I get a 1 cycle on him. He's hit me enough times I need to check my health. Yellow caution. Surprised he still hasn't run away yet. Okay, there's his... Okay, I 1 cycled the boss. Essentially, normally what happens is he runs away and then you have to find him. So you're going to be running around this forest looking for him. If you see him and you can shoot him with your camera, do that. If not, run straight at him so he runs over you. Kill any wolves that spawn and pick up the 4 items. In fact, it kind of sucks I didn't get all the items there, but I'll take it for a 1 cycle boss fight. I actually reloaded just to try that strat again, and I 1 cycled him again, so we're just going with that. That's how you 1 cycle this boss. You don't get all the healing items, but I still got a free first aid kit. There is that other first aid kit we were running straight to. If you ran straight for it, you would be able to get it without having to worry about losing the 1 cycle, but I don't really need healing items. I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, welcome back to the archive. We're down to 1 remaining map, the clock tower, but it's a doozy. Let's go ahead and store our extra first aid kits. And while I add it, I see that my camera needs reloading. We'll go ahead and do that. I am at yellow caution. And I see that I have an extra bandage. So, just for good measure, let's go ahead and use this. Again, technically you should wait until you're red and then use a first aid kit, but I feel like I deserve having full health. Okay, now we're ready to go to the last area of the game, which is the clock tower. As usual, we gotta come over here, put our brand new page in the book. It's going to open up the last set of gates. There's a couple different exits still left in here, but at least 1 or 2. But right now, we're just interested in this. Moving on down and along the gates. This is another, just like, little transition area. No items or anything. Thought there would be like a journal article or something in this giant clock room, particularly since there's stuff that looks like desks. And there's things that looks like lockers, but no. Just a big set piece and a big staircase. Climbing up. Still just in the transition area. The actual map doesn't begin until we go inside the clock tower. That's the clock tower map.
The chiming that's been haunting me. It's from here. What is this place meant to be? Is that clock counting down? Regardless of what it means, I need to face it. It's time.
Alright, and in fact the clock tower map is so complicated I had to break it up into 4 different routes for the 4 key items. Go ahead, grab our Delta emblem, that's our first key item, which this map revolves around. Journal entry 4. Looks like it's getting worse for that person. Now we're going to go up the stairs. There's a little glimpse of the Tapekeeper over the balcony there if you get the right camera angle. Hardly showed there. Going to be into the dining room. There is a red ghost going around that I want to go ahead and take a second to get rid of, simply because we got to go through this room a couple times. That's one of my main key things of whether or not you should kill an enemy is how many times do you have to dodge the same enemy. There's another one in here. I forgot those 2. That one you could get rid of. It's not really an issue. We'll go and grab this health. Then we'll go through the door. Now we have a frog. A headless frog. Liquor. Etc. It's kind of like the wolves. Just keep attacking it. Maybe you'll get hit. Probably it'll be okay. Now we've got a couple doors to open. A couple things to unlock. This is a fairly long hallway. That's going to be our next goal. In fact, we could just go ahead and stick the emblem in there just to get it out of our inventory. But we're not going to go through the door until we do a couple of more things. Use. Okay, that key item out of our inventory. We've got a one-way door coming up we need to unlock. This door. I unlocked it. That leads back to the beginning area. We'll need that unlocked because this is the route to the save room, which we'll go ahead and hit real quick just to make our beginning of chapter save, and we can drop off that one healing item we just got. Store this here. We could make a first aid kit, but there's no point. I might want to waste a health thing in a little bit. Save on slot 2 just to get myself from yellow caution, which is barely any damage, to green full health. Back out of the save room. Gonna go up the staircase. Then we've got 2 enemies here who'd like to hit us. We could go ahead and get rid of them. Actually, I think I will. I just wanted to make that juke real quick. Also, this is a little bit better layout on where they are. Let's get rid of the blue first. They might get a hit on us. Nope. Then we got the red. Hopefully, you can't hit them while they're invisible. But they can't stay invisible for that long. We're going to run across to this gallery here. Each of these gallery files, this is poem 2, is actually part of a puzzle later on.
This room
so you actually have to collect all of those. Sam has a kind of long dialogue with all that, so we're going to skip it. Then it's just back down the staircase, and we're going to go in that beta door, Delta door that we unlocked earlier. So this is essentially the Delta route. Here we go in Delta. It takes us to the hospital.
There are a million reasons to hate hospitals.
We're going to pick up a healing item while juking the enemy. I don't know if there's any enemies in the hospital that you really have to worry about killing, because you're never... This map has like a bunch of side areas. Once you clear a side area, you're never going to go back in that side area. That enemy is not worth fooling with. We're going to go in here in the waiting room. We're going to grab a first aid kit. And we have the sign. The TV's flashing the solution to a puzzle we'll see in a minute. 1, complacency. 2 uncertainty, 3 mediocrity, and 4 should be mortality. That enemy should be playing with me, but I guess I must have snuck past it and it didn't actually aggro me. We're going to run straight across again before the frog enemy even knows what's going on. Then we're going up the stairs. Second floor is locked. Can't do anything there. This is just a long path to the third floor. Whoop. All right, and now we have the vignette puzzle. If you want to try figuring this one out on your own, the solution is based on what we just saw on the TVs, but it's really hard to figure out what vignette matches which word. So here's the solution. Complacency is first. That is the couple. We're going to push the button. Then next is uncertainty, which is represented by falling. Next is mediocrity, which I had no idea what mediocrity was supposed to be, but apparently mediocrity is the desk. Maybe it's because there's a bunch of paintings with nothing on them. I don't know. There's also a bunch of TVs in the background. Last thing is mortality, which is the hospital scene. Once you've hit all of those buttons, the door opens up. And oh, not that, yeah. You have to cut through here. There's a file here. The letter from D. I don't know if that's supposed to be a hint, but it's really not a good hint for that puzzle. And then all we gotta do is come in here to the maternity ward, grab the crucifix, and it's going to teleport us back to the lobby, and that's going to finish up the Delta route. Up next is the Beta route. We can go ahead and slot in the crucifix into one of these 4 slots. That allows us to go to the 3rd floor. And before we start the Beta route, now is an excellent time for a safety save. We're going to go right to this door. Then you go straight across. We've already killed the enemy in here. Then, by the way, this looks exactly like one of the Resident Evils. I know like Resident Evil 1 had a save point by a staircase like that. We'll get rid of all of our healing items because we haven't gotten hurt. There we go. Could go ahead and reload our film while we're at it. And we will save on slot 1. Alright, and now we're beginning the Beta route. Now the Beta route is the most complicated of the routes I mapped out for this game because it sets you up for the Gamma and the Omega route while taking the least little backtracks and having to redo stuff. So, we're going to take the elevator to the 2nd floor. And we're going to run around and unlock a couple doors. So first of all, we go over here to the left. Then, is there an enemy in this hallway? I can't remember. They like to stick those frog enemies on the top. We're going to go through, unlatch the door to the cages. That's what I'm talking about, having to open up some doors. Then we're going down this ramp. And I hear enemies. I think they're on the other side. We'll be back through there in a little bit. Now, like I said, we need to hit all of these gammas. There is poem 1. All of these galleries, I mean, there's poem 1. We're going to unlock this door. Here, back on the 1st floor. Hit the door directly across. We're going to be back in the dining room. That one enemy is too far away to bother us, so we're not going to worry with them. Retrace our steps. Back into the entrance hall. Back to the elevator, only this time we are going to floor 3. We can completely ignore the frog, undead, headless enemy there. walk through here. We can pick up an item right here. We can hear the frog enemies, but they're actually invincible until they fall down, or it looks like a second after they fall down. And we're just going to keep doing our best to pour damage on him. Oh, I thought he was dead, so I could have got another shot there. There we go. He's done. Then we're going to go... Nope. I was actually already at the door I needed. Is this a door? Yep, that's the door. We are now in the gallery. Oh, that's really embarrassing.
That way too. Like
see if I can line this up. Gallery for 3. So we got Flame Fragment 3. Now we're in storage. There's an enemy here, right there. This is the only time you're going to be in here. So I'd rather just take the damage that they managed to hit me. Again, those phantoms or whatever are so slow. Grab the healing item. Grab the developer. Let's go and combine these two. Free up a little inventory space. We will also reload the camera. Always nice to have full ammo. Run back past the enemy. Bob's your uncle. We're done with this room. Don't have to go in there again. Then we're going to be going to the 3rd floor cages to open up that puzzle, or to finish out that puzzle. Going straight across. Okay, I had to remember, like, I thought it ended there, but then the camera angle didn't show me the end. We're going down the ladder. We're going over here to push this little boxy-doo. You thought you were done pushing boxes? Oh no. Still got one left. Now that not only brings up the beta symbol, it also drops a nice little walkway. So we're going to run across, grab the symbol that we just got. Emblem? Might be called an emblem. Beta emblem, right. Then if you think you have plenty of health, you can ignore this little detour, but since I like having all the health, even if I might end up having to throw it away later, because I have too much, there is a health pack right here. Free and clear, no enemies. We also still have 2 inventory slots open, so we're doing pretty good. Now we're going to run back this way. And then remember that door that we unlocked earlier up here? That's right. We're going to go back through it. We're going to go right here into the dark room. We're going to use our photo developer. Use the developing solution on the photograph. And that's the solution for a puzzle we're doing later. If you need to look at it again, just go to the clock tower, files, develop photo. There you go. Of course, I'll also be showing you what to do there. We'll also grab some more film. Of course, there's film in the dark room. And we're ready to cut across to do beta. Oop. Go straight across into the library. There's your nice little antiseptic there. And then some film here. And we can drop off. Or we can use and, yep. We can socket in the beta emblem. All right, this is the school. There's not a lot in the school, but there's a few things in here. And eventually it's going to lead us to another one of our little, another one of our key items for that wall of trophies. Here is a new enemy. That's the mannequin. They are completely impervious to damage. You can hit them and they'll like blow up for a second, but then they immediately reform. This area is filled with 3 frogs, but I actually think the frogs are probably the worst at hitting you in the game, which probably means they're going to hit me when I make this run and they've never done it before. But they actually, that leap that you think is an attack, it's not an attack. They actually have to leap and then attack. Here's some film, that's what we ran up here for. That means essentially that as long as you keep running, it's impossible for them to hit you. Because they'll leap to where you are, as long as you don't get caught on something. They'll leap to where you are, and then a second later they'll do their attack. And by that point, you've already moved away. So, doesn't matter that we end up with yet a 3rd frog. Just keep running. Not only are they not good at hitting you, but you're never coming back in this area again anyway. I did find a possum over here. That's a nice little look at it, but you really just want this door. Now, you've got a bathroom on either side where you can grab a bandage. Now that we have a bandage and an antiseptic, we're going to combine that for a first aid kit. Then there's another healing item over in this bathroom. It's in one of these toilets. There we go. I didn't have that antiseptic from earlier. You could have combined this antiseptic with that bandage we just got to make the first aid kit. Now, essentially, it's just a... Oh, good thing those didn't activate. Oh, wrong way. Oh, tried to hit me. Okay, this way. You really just got to straight run down the hallway. Some of these mannequins will activate, but they take just a second to activate, and then, you know, another second to hit you, so just run straight through. Another place where you'll never be back in again. Alright, now this puzzle, I'm not totally sure how it works. It's a quiz that asks you questions, and I think eventually, even if you don't answer it correctly, it's just going to give you the item you need, which is the VHS tape. But I think it's shorter if you go, yes, I feel bad. At the very least, it makes it more interesting because you see we've went to a clean classroom to a corrupted, terrible classroom. I should feel bad, yes. Oh, but it's still pretty much the same classroom. So I think you just have to get through these 7 questions. I'm just going to keep doing yes. That seems to be the fastest route. Yeah, the only thing I see a difference is when you do yes, you should feel bad, the classroom is bad. If you do no, then the classroom is gooder. So we're just going to keep doing this until we hit 7 questions. Alright, we've answered 7 questions, yes on all of them. That gives us the videotape. Now that we're back in the main area again, we'll go ahead and insert the videotape. That advances the clock. Eventually we'll need to hit 12. I feel like it should be 12:15, but that's not what the developers did, and we'll go safety save again. Plus we have several items we need to get rid of anyway, so this will give us a good chance to do that. We will go ahead and empty our inventory of all these freaking first aid things. You can see they've really started to rack up. And we'll go make our safety save. Alright, and now we're starting on the Gamma route, which is actually relatively easy, particularly compared to the first 2, because we've already put a lot of the work in that we need to do. We're going to go back to where we were earlier, to one of the doors that we didn't pay attention to before, run down here, and go into the room called Hole.
That gap is too far to jump.
You see it's a big hole, but there's actually split into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 columns. If you look at the photo, it shows you exactly which columns you want to take. So we're going to start at column 5, and we're going to move up 1, 2, then we're going to move over 3, well, move over 2 for a total of 3, Then we're going to move up 2 for a total of 3. Then we're going to move right 1. And then run for the emblem. Yes. Now we have the gamma emblem. Now we just make sure to retrace our steps. Pretty easy as long as you don't try to run straight forward. And a little harder maybe, or maybe easier with tank controls. Now we run all the way down this long hallway. And we're actually going back into the dining room because the dining room has the gamma lock door. Which I believe is this one. Yep. Still got that one enemy running around somewhere. I don't see them. Going to use the gamma emblem. And this is going to let us go into the subway. Kind of a cool area in my opinion. We've got one little health pack we can get at the end of this corridor. Oh, no, bandage. Won't really need that, but hey, I like collecting things. While we're here, this one actually has a save room. We can go ahead, stick that bandage in there, and make a save that we don't really need, but why not? You know, might end up needing it late, wishing we had it later. It's just one of those, it's the same way that I can't avoid a first aid kit when I know that it's there, unless my inventory is full. I also can't avoid a save room. Alright, so immediately we're going to turn left so we don't have a chance of triggering any of those mannequins, just like earlier in the school. Some of those mannequins are enemies and some of them are not. We're going to go and get rid of this static net, and we'll get the last photo. That gives us all photos for the best ending. Then we're just going to, we actually want to run straight across, but I'm sure there's going to be some mannequins in the way, so we'll move out a little bit. This will end up triggering one, but it's okay, they're slow. And it triggered that one. That one's probably going to be a problem because it's going to follow us down here. It may be that if I had hugged the side of the platform a little bit more, that one wouldn't have started wandering this way. Take the lower track key. Go back. Now, if the mannequin walked down the stairs, it won't be in my way, but it didn't walk down the stairs and it is in my way. But like I said, they take a long time to swing. This one's coming after me, so we'll immediately use the key. And we'll head downstairs to get away from the mannequin. There's no items in this area for us to miss, that I found at least. But we're just running into the train, down the train, ignoring those slow, pitiful mannequins running through the door the camera has framed for us, and into the office. But I cannot hear that person at all. It actually sounds like it may just be static. Okay, so I think the longer you're in this area, the more enemies spawn, at least once you start this puzzle. So we're going to grab this, take the HR notice, and we're going to run. I heard a phone ring. I don't know if that's like any lore somewhere. By the way, originally, if you pressed X like right here, you would get teleported back to the beginning, and you don't want to do that, so don't press X in this whole area. I don't know if that's been fixed out or not. I don't feel like trying to figure it out. So we have a red file. We're going to go stick it in the red box. Doesn't automatically ask, so we just do that. Now we just run straight back. Yet the enemies have started spawning. We're gonna run straight back to the same copier. And grab the green. Green is down here. You see we're getting more and more enemies, but it's fine because all we gotta do is drop off these little thingamaboos. There's the green file. Yep, definitely getting more enemies. Kind of hugging the walls a little bit because make it easier to go through here. Now it's the blue file, the PST report, whatever that means. Got a couple enemies. These enemies also, they have a chance to just cry instead of hitting you. So even though there's a lot of them in this area, they don't have a very high chance of actually hitting you. That's nothing I really worry that much about. Drop off the blue memo. We're apparently just the mail person. We're just dropping off memos. It looks like they... Oh, that one tried to hit me. But at least one tried to hit me. This one's guarding the yellow memo, but they started crying, so it doesn't matter. There's the paycheck. Paycheck goes in yellow box. This area is slightly different from the other areas in that there's two routes. We're actually going to go this way first and pick up some film we don't need. Yes, I am a pack rat. I'm also used to much harder survival horrors where you actually need these extra items. Then you just cut straight across, wind your way past the bookshelf, going around the world, essentially. This one's just a big spiral. Until we finally get to the room with four enemies that they lock you in. And the last file. Now we're just going to, like, stick here for a second. Oh, and now we're down to 2 enemies. I wonder where the other 2 went. I guess they wandered out before the door closed. I think this is just time-based. I didn't see anything that, like, triggered making this gate go up, which is what we're doing. We're waiting for this gate to go up. Maybe I need to... Oh, that one could have hit me if they hadn't started crying. I think that's just time-based, but you can wander around, make circles around that table until the gate goes up to give you something to do, and just in case there's some kind of flag or trigger you have to hit. It's not obvious. Then we're just heading straight back to where the files were, and now we get the work ID. And that finishes the gamma round. Only one left. Okay, let's go back, drop off our mini healing items, and make another safety save. Oh, almost forgot. We'll also go ahead and drop off the employee ID so it's not cluttering up our inventory. Use that. We can also drop off the Polaroid because we don't need that until we're ready to unlock endings, which is going to be a little bit later from now. So back up the stairs, to the right, into the wall, through the door, through the other door, around the staircase. To get rid of items, we're actually also going to want to pick up one more thing. Let's get rid of the Polaroid. We're actually also going to pick up the lighter and the cigarette, because even though I said I wasn't worried about costumes, there's one really easy to get, and I don't know what it is, so I want to see it. We're going to say back in slot 1. And from here, we just have a little bit more backtracking to do. The same backtracking as always, which is to say we've got to go to that elevator, which means winding our way from the save room back to the entrance hall, around the corner, and up to the elevator. This time we're going up to floor 3 again. We're still avoiding that enemy. Actually, I don't think there's any reason to go past that enemy, because you can go this way, go down the hallway we've already cleared, And I will show you one of the rooms we haven't seen yet, which is the upper level of the library. Nothing particularly here. You can grab a file. Keep on going around. And look at that. A save room that we don't really need. I'm not sure why this one is here. I guess we could have skipped doing it in saving in stairwell. We could have went straight here. All right. So we're in the gallery.
I haven't thought
This is the last part of the poem.
about it like this before.
If you go in there, we have pillar 1, 2, 3, and 4. That is actually the solution to this next puzzle. If you want to try to figure it out yourself, here's your chance. But we're just taking the D words from the poem. The poems, so it's dwell, desire, deprive, and dread. That's going to give you the Omega emblem, which is the route that we're on right now. After you've got the Omega emblem, unless you want to continue to hear Sam talk about art and life and etc., you'll go back through the door. We might as well safety save while we're here. And then you're going around to this door. We have an enemy we can probably avoid. We can have a bandage that we can take. And we're looking for the first door this direction, where we're in the garden. More enemies to avoid. Another poem. And bandage. We're actually going to not run past that enemy, but go back around to this area. There'll be another enemy walking past them, so we've juked them all. Then we're able to use the Omega emblem. Inside, we've really just got another transition area. We're going to the home. This is apparently Sam's future home, but it's also kind of set up for her funeral or after her funeral, or this is her home after the funeral we saw earlier, I guess. Now, normally what you want to do here is to go all the way around, find all the clocks, and see that, hey, 8 o'clock is time. This is going to be your solution for the puzzle we're about to do in just a second, but I've already written all these down, so there's no point just showing them to you. If you want to figure it out yourself, you'll just have to wander around the house and find the clocks. There is one other thing going on here, which is this ashtray, the only one not in a save room. Apparently, if you go up to the ashtray and you use the cigarettes, you'll place them on the ashtray. It's time to quit for good. That will later on unlock a costume. And I thought you needed the cigarette lighter, but apparently just the cigarettes. Now we're going to go here after looking at all the clocks, and we've got one of these super stupid sliding block puzzles. If you've looked at all the clocks, you know the order they're supposed to be in. But if you'd like the solution, you're going to make these moves. First, you're going to move 6 earth, and then 7 water, 8 devil, 12 candle, 11 time, 7 devil, 3 widow, 4 ship, 8 candle, and 12 time. Do realize, do be warned that you have to make that solution on the first try. Just exiting won't reset that puzzle. Maybe exiting the house will. We've got what I believe is the last of the journal entries here, journal entry 5. And now we've just got to get our last item, which is going to be the eulogy. Yes. Let's go ahead and go place the eulogy inside. Oh. Pull up your inventory and use the eulogy to place it. That's going to set the clock to 12, not 12:15. And it's going to open up the roof. Now, you could safety save now, but I'm going to recommend against it. Simply because we're going to be hitting a save in just a minute, and I don't think there's really anything between us and the save. But we'll go up to roof. We've got another long staircase to climb. And we're at... well, it's a church graveyard, and it looks like a church. Yeah, I'm going to assume this is the church. We are almost at the end of the game now, folks. We'll make our little way down.
This must be the end of all of this. There's nowhere left to go now that I'm here. This is it. Just like the others, I came here trying to find out what comes next. What's after. I was so focused on getting here, on getting out of here, on being somewhere else, doing the same thing I've always done, even before all of this. All that time spent fearing the end I was actively searching for, but never paying attention to what was happening as it was happening. Was I wasting my time? Not because how I spent it was meaningless, but because I refused to experience life as it was passing by.
All right, fascinating. Tell me more, Sam. Anyway, that's our last page of the game. Doesn't unlock a new area like the other pages. It's actually just going to unlock a door. But we're going to run up here, grab the page, stick it in our getting full inventory, and go over here to this door, which we can unlock. And it takes us to the archive. We'll run straight over, stick in the page we just got.
These are my thoughts from the time I was able to form my first words. Half of this doesn't make any sense. My childish thoughts are all jumbled and mostly nonsense. I can tell when I started to grow up. I was so sad, frustrated, scared. I felt like the world betrayed me. Looking further in. Holy shit, the words are appearing as I think. 1, 2, destiny.
We're going to grab the ancient key.
I'm getting nauseous reading what's in my head as I think it. It's time to close this book and get out of here.
We'll take a second, stick the lighter that I shouldn't have got back in the box. Stick the first aid kit back in the box. Then we're going to go ahead and save. And I would make this an archive save, slot 3, because we're about to make choices depending on what we do will change the ending of the game. So we're going back in here, and I want all 3 of the Polaroids. And I'm going to pick up a first aid kit because we're going to be fighting the boss right after we do this. I think 1 first aid kit's probably enough. Just like usual, there's going to be... I think the final boss actually only gives you 2 items. So we're going to run over here. This is the photo frame. Picture frame doesn't really look like one. It's a little hard to figure out what's going on here because of the screen and etc. So, if you want to get the bad ending, you're not going to do anything here. You'll just continue on, beat the boss like I'm going to show you in a minute, and you'll get the bad ending. Then, if you want to see the good ending, you're going to reload the save we just made, and we're going to put 2 of these photos in the frame. It might work with 1, I haven't tested it. But I know it works with 2. We get a little bit of a text. A little sad story about people who try to make it through this dream, afterworld, whatever, and weren't able to do it. When we put 2 photos in, that unlocks, and again, it may do it with 1, that unlocks the good ending. If we want the good ending plus the extra scene, we have to put all 3 photos in. By the way, examining those photos is pretty interesting too. You get a little bit of interesting lore with that. And that's it. At this point, we have unlocked the good leaves plus ending, which is the good ending plus an extra scene. Now all we've got to do is go fight the end boss and see our ending. So we'll run up here, unlock it using the ancient key, discard the ancient key, go into the end boss fight. Alright, now we're at the Tapekeeper. First thing we're going to do is pick up our only first aid kit of the area. Then we're going to run over here, wasting no time, to what is essentially our safe zone. None of the Tapekeeper's physical attacks can hit here. The falling bricks, as you can see, can hit here, but there's a nice big shadow to show when they're coming. And yeah, you're just chilling out here waiting for the Tapekeeper to finish their attacks. It's a little bit of a gimmick fight. Well, it pretty much is exactly a gimmick fight. There's no point in attacking it now. There's no point being out in the center of the arena now. I'm not really sure how this was leveled. When it turns around, we're going to go and get our camera out. Those lanterns, you can see one there is our goal. So we need to light them. We can get 2 lanterns safely on a cycle, dodge the fireballs. You don't have to go all the way around, just make sure they're in range. Whoop. After that, the Tapekeeper is weak to damage. Hit them once, good. Stand over here back in your safe area. And it's just a bunch of waiting. In case I did that a little too fast, I guess I have plenty of time to recap. After they turn around and the lanterns fall down, you're going to want to shoot the lantern with your camera to light it. You can do that in pretty much 2 cycles. You can hit the 2 on the left, dodge the fireballs, hit the 2 on the right, dodge the fireballs, shoot the Tapekeeper. You have to do this twice. I think this is actually even the exact same cycle of attacks. When it's turning around, you're going to want to stand about here. Wait for that lantern is about to go out. It's very generous on the hitbox, so you don't even have to get a full, clear hit on it. These are no longer moving, but I didn't get quite close enough on that, so it got a fireball off. There we go. There's quote-unquote Form 1. Oh, hey! Now there's items back. That didn't happen to begin with. When I was playing this earlier, let's go grab the items. You know I can't do without the items, even if it causes me to get hit. Gonna grab that. We've got these tapes going behind us. The Tapekeeper is still doing the same physical attacks. We've got the items. We're back in our safe place. Just want to avoid those tapes. You can actually totally dodge them in the safe spot, but at this point, the Tapekeeper has ran out of that little area tape attack, and we're just waiting for them to get tired and beat on the clock to make the lanterns fall down for whatever reason. Hey, I'm not saying it makes sense. Oh yeah, here's another attack. This isn't you for this one. That looks like it hits the entire main area, which is why you just stay in your safe zone. Found out that their wallet was stolen, checking their pocket, gonna stay in here. This is exactly the same, only we have one more lantern. But you can hit 3 of them on the first cycle. Come over, grab these, move out of the way of any fireballs that came your way. I was too fast to do that. In the cycle, now this is a little different. We're gonna stand right here. And we're going to wait for a couple of those tape vortexes to show up. This just gives us a little bit more room. I don't know why that one's there. And we're just going to very slowly make our way back to the safe zone. I can do this. Again, you can actually dodge these tape vortexes entirely in the safe zone. It's just a little easier if you go out there. Stand back in our safe zone. Watch this Tapekeeper impotently hammer the ground. No way for it to hit us right now. The only way you can hit is get hit in this area is by the tape vortexes, which we've already dodged and don't come back up on the cycle, or the fireballs, which he can't do until the lanterns are down, or she actually. This one is definitely a she. We're going to hit lantern, hit lantern, hit lantern, fireballs are coming, lantern, lantern, goodbye. Run! Beat the game in under 2 hours. I probably could have beat it in under 1 hour if I had not been trying to show y'all stuff and actually finding the solutions so you would see what the solutions were instead of just, you know, putting the codes in the puzzles. I've actually already made a video showing the 3 different endings. So instead of rehashing that here, here's a link to that video. Link is also going to be in the description and probably at the end of this video as well if you want to see what the 3 different endings are. So that was the walkthrough for Heartworm. Thanks a bunch for watching. I hope it really helped y'all out, or at least maybe got you past a stuck point or 2. I'm releasing at least 1 video a week on interesting new games. So if you haven't subscribed yet, would you any % run down to the subscription button and turn notifications on? I actually put a lot of work into this video, so if you want to support me further, there's also a Ko-Fi link in the description. Either way, I hope this video will help you enjoy Heartworm a little more. Anyway, that's it for me tonight. Hope you have a great evening, and bye!